In the last lesson, I promised you'd learn a potent technique to make your resumes more inclusive, more interesting, and more readable. That's what you'll learn in this lesson. I'm going to show you a tiered method to write accomplishment statements. The method was developed by Phil Baker of ResumeDictionary.com, and he reports widespread success with it. You can use it when a single accomplishment involves multiple competencies. The word tier in English simply means level. This slide shows you the simple idea of 3 tiers. Adopting this concept to the writing of accomplishment statements leads to this idea. Basically, you write related accomplishment statements where there's a primary statement, then 2 related accomplishments in bullet points underneath. The secondary and tertiary statements support, relate to, or are a result of the primary accomplishment. The 3-level approach doesn't work for every job seeker, and it does take more thinking, but it can produce a sharp-looking resume that's easier to read and rich with content. To construct a tiered accomplishment statement, start with a primary skill based on the relevant competencies you've identified in the job posting. Write this accomplishment statement using the strategies you learned in the previous lesson. Now choose an accomplishment related to the first that you can use to provide evidence of a secondary competency. Write that as a strong accomplishment statement and position it as a bullet point under the first. Finally, choose another related accomplishment that provides evidence of a tertiary competency. Write that as yet another strong accomplishment statement and position it as a second bullet point. Let's look at an example of how you might use this method in constructing a tiered set of accomplishment statements. Say you have 3 competencies you want to communicate: your analytic skills, your creative skills, and your communication skills. You can provide evidence of these in an accomplishment that involved this set of related skills. You write this accomplishment statement to demonstrate your primary competency in performing analysis. You use the action word analyze to convey this competency. The situation or problem that is implied relates to some kind of inefficiency in technical support response. Your task was to fix the problem. As part of fulfilling this task, following your analysis, this is the action you took. You wrote new support scripts, and the result was a significant reduction in the time that support techs had to spend on the phone, with a commensurate reduction in labor costs. You quantify the results in concrete terms. Finally, demonstrating your communication and leadership skills, you took the action of training support employees, which led to an impressive result in reduced training times. So a project that you worked on over a period of time serves to provide evidence of your analytic skills, your creative skills, and your communication and leadership skills. How this would look on a resume is shown in the next slide. A resume entry like this provides concrete evidence of abilities and skills together with quantifiable results that communicate real value to an organization. A hiring manager who has a need for a technical support manager would likely be intrigued by this. He or she would want to know how you pulled off these accomplishments, and so they'd ask you in for an interview. And remember, that's the purpose of your resume. Let's look at another example. Here you'll provide evidence of your management skills, your attention to detail, and your profit-oriented thinking. As a sales manager for a veterinarian supply company working in a small territory in the U.S., you faced a challenge to increase revenue and decrease expenses. At the top level, you produced an impressive accomplishment whereby the small territory you managed outperformed all the larger territories by a significant percent. Showing your hands-on approach, this accomplishment summarizes the actions you took that led to the impressive management result. You listened to customer needs and found a way to cut travel expenses. It's implied that less time spent traveling also means more time for the sales personnel to serve customers. Your ability to make decisions and follow up led to the website upgrades referred to here. The result of your actions seems sure to attract a reviewer's attention, as you more than doubled the annual revenue of your department. And here's how it would look on a resume. Your primary competency as a manager leads from the top, then your attention to detail and your profit-oriented thinking are demonstrated by related accomplishments. You'll find more examples in the readings attached to this lesson. This way of presenting accomplishment statements lets you use a single accomplishment to provide evidence of multiple competencies. You focus on writing about one event, but you create 2 or 3 statements depicting the relevant competencies you've identified for the position. So use the strategies in this and the last lesson to create accomplishment statements for all the knowledge, accomplishment to provide evidence of multiple competencies. You focus on writing about one event, but you create 2 or 3 statements depicting the relevant competencies you've identified for the position. So use the strategies in this and the last lesson to create accomplishment statements for all the knowledge, skills, abilities, and personal qualities that you've identified as critical for the position you're seeking. In the next lesson, you'll learn about writing summary statements that can be particularly effective in constructing robot-friendly resumes. People will like them too.